Okay. So a reading from chapter 5 of Life-Changing Sounds from Dattatreya Siva Baba. Tools from the Other Side. Chapter 5, Personal Connection with God. The mantra, Arut Perun Jyoti. What we consider luck or fortune is a gift from God. Some people are born with a silver spoon in their mouth. These people do not toil, but most people have to make their way by the sweat of their brow. Some people hardly make it. What can we do about our fortune? Fortune is a result of our past lives. Many people have asked me, why is there so much poverty and suffering in India? There are temples everywhere, and there's a rich spiritual tradition. Why is there so much poverty in India? The problem in India is that people do not understand spirituality in the right sense. It is true that the country is flooded with temples and temple attendance is high. But although people go to the temples, they don't believe in God. Their belief in God is only marginal. It is an unconscious robot activity. There's no trust at all. God does appear to people. This is not just a product of the imagination or a hallucination. Many do have enough faith. We go to the temple, church, mosque, synagogue, and our trust is not there. The problem with humanity is lack of faith, lack of trust. We need a committed faith to connect with God. Unfortunately, many have lost their emotion of faith. It is because of science. Science is based upon mistrust. Already our ego is not letting us have faith in God. Now science, which is based on the model of doubt, reinforces our innate tendency to disbelieve and doubt. We've hit the rock bottom. Strictly speaking, there's no way out from your current mess. We're absolutely pushed into a corner. We're desperate. Our minds don't work. Our bodies suddenly have lost all energy. What do? This is the time for providence, luck. Providence works through miracles. Where do these miracles come from? God. God watches over you, although you're not able to see him or her. I repeat, luck is a gift from God. When I say God, it's not a Christian, Jewish, or Hindu God. It is the supreme energy that supports life. You can definitely access this energy through any form presented by the different religions. You can then turn to these divine figures for help and protection. They will certainly respond to you if you pray to them sincerely with faith. But unfortunately, the mind constantly moves from one idea to another. It's hard to keep attention on anything for a prolonged period of time. Also, faith seems not quite natural to the modern mind. Mind is rational, while faith is irrational. Mind is logical, faith is illogical. Mind is fact-oriented, faith deals with truth. Mind is doubtful, faith is doubt-free. Mind is duality and faith is unity. Mind is negative and faith is positive. And you can think of this last phrase not in moral judgment, but mind is negating, dividing, negating, and faith is positive. Humanity has come to a realization that our dedication to science has not given us peace of mind. It has made us more miserable. So that life can be peaceful and joyous once again, more people are looking at older ways of living, bringing faith back into our lives. God exists, grace exists, enlightenment exists. You will benefit more by dedicating your life to the divine. The divine can do things more easily than your ego self can. It is because of your ego that you stop the flow of grace. Ego devises many devious ways in order to get things done. Drop off your ego. Then you can get into the field of grace. It is important to understand this point. You'll never come to grace through your mind. Grace is beyond mind, beyond ego. We've been trained not to believe in God. We've been trained to believe in ourselves, in our own ego, in our own mind. You have to make a tremendous effort to believe in God. Perhaps just briefly to clarify, in case the question is there, what's ego? And just just quickly approach this without too much analysis. But my understanding here is bringing attention to a constructed idea of self, a constructed idea of our faculties of knowledge, of analysis, of action. And so it's a limited sense of who is the doer, who is the one who thinks and acts and decides, a limited understanding of it. All of that is ego and is, in a way, an interference with our openness to the divine knowledge, the divine power to be the one that is the doer. I want to give you some tools to access a personal connection with God. Your connection may not be the same as your neighbor's, so you must pick the right tools that suit you. To do that, you must do some self-assessment. Every individual is different. One may be very intellectual, while someone else is very emotional, yet another is skeptical. Each human being has certain innate qualities. In order to access the grace of God, each individual must look inside and find what type of individual he or she is. Depending upon that, one can get into a practice which will be useful for finding God and God's grace. Let us recognize, so there's a section about the path of knowledge, jnana. Let us recognize that there are various types of individuals. Those who are intellectually oriented follow the path of the intellect. The path of the intellect is not only discursive reasoning, it's beyond that. The path of the intellect may start with inquiry, but it eventually leads to enlightenment. This is called the path of jnana, the path of knowledge. According to this path, God is intelligence. So you begin to understand the structure of intelligence. You begin to question, who is the perceiver? How do I perceive things around me? Am I perceiving through the linguistic tools? What are my prejudices? What is the phenomenon of sound? What is the phenomenon of light? How do I know? These kinds of queries can eventually lead you to enlightenment. The Buddha followed this path, which led him to the idea that reality is empty. When you annihilate your mind, then there is emptiness. That emptiness is fullness. And in fullness, you realize that you are infinite. In that condition, you have accomplished the goal of your own existence. In this path, you follow mostly a monastic life and practice intellectual reasoning and meditative exercises. Path of devotion, bhakti. However, I recommend a more lively and enjoyable approach. It's the approach of bhakti, devotion. If you devote yourself totally to a god or to a guru of your choice, you achieve things much faster than through jnana. The devotion should be unconditional. It should be total surrender. Once you do that, you are in a field of grace. It's the easiest way. The structure of devotion is fascinating. It's very human. Within the Tamil tradition, you find this structure fully explained in the lives of many saints. You can enter into a very personal relationship with a god of your choice. He can be your friend, a friend who can get you anything. He can also be conceived of as your master. This is the way most commonly followed, the guru-apprentice-disciple relationship. You absolutely surrender to the teacher. You don't just trust your intellect. You don't trust your ego or your mind. You trust only the master, and your whole life is dedicated to the master. So just to clarify, I don't see myself as this kind of master guru. You trust only the master, and your whole life is dedicated to the master. In another modality, God becomes the lover, as in the case of Krishna and Radha. Radha is the greatest exponent of romantic love. She totally dedicates herself to the love of Krishna. Radha is the human soul and Krishna the God. You can get into a very intimate relationship with the deity. As you begin to pour your heart into the deities will come alive. Through your own emotions, the deity becomes real to you. You can achieve whatever you want to achieve through total devotion to the deity. Worship the deity, pour out your heart to that deity. Make sure you can resonate with that feeling. Then the deity comes alive. Always think only about the deity, then grace will come to you. This is the easiest way. You can do this with Jesus, Buddha, Mary, Allah, Yahweh, Kuan Yin, etc. You can worship any deity from any tradition. Make sure you can get into the emotions. If you have a natural pull toward a particular deity, if you could love that deity unconditionally with great emotion, then you can access grace. Once you access grace, your whole life is filled with great intelligence. That intelligence is responsible for creating your life. It is good to develop a personal relationship with the deities. Deities are always watching you and are ready to help you. They're going to send special envoys to help you. The mantras put you in intimate contact with the deities so that you can use the divine help. Grace. Grace is never ineffective. Once you receive the grace of an enlightened Siddha, it never goes to waste. Reflect on all that has occurred in your own life as a result of grace. Practice reverence, sincerity, faith, and love. Allow yourself to adore God. Imagine him or her to be in every part of you. Meditate on God's qualities such as nobility and mercy. Mantra, Arut Perun Jyoti. Chant this mantra, Arut Perun Jyoti. While chanting, visualize grace as a vast light pouring down from heaven. The light comes down. It comes in through the top of your head. Visualize the vast grace light getting into every cell of the body. Feel the grace of God in every part of you. Arut means intelligence. Intelligence is the grace of God. This chant and visualization reprogram the cells. So the word intelligence here, I think it's important to dissociate it from the, let's say, educational, academic concept of intelligence and think of it in terms of consciousness and when I speak, for example, of the body's intelligence, nature's intelligence, that consciousness that has sensitivity, that has organic wisdom to it, that has direction to it, and perfect knowledge of the interrelationship of all things, because it is that interrelationship of all things. It is the organism that is all. And so it is the intelligence in the sense that it is the consciousness and the organic wisdom arising from the totality and the awareness of all the interconnections. So Arut means intelligence. Intelligence is the grace of God. This chant and visualization reprogram the cells. As you continue the chant and visualization, infinite divine intelligence starts to fill you. Grace fills your mind and purifies it. Grace fills your ego and purifies it. The mind merges with grace and merges with God. Arut Perun Jyoti, this mantra has come directly from the divine. Shiva Nataraj, the dancing form of Lord Shiva, gave it to me when I was Swami Ramalingam in my previous incarnation. I'm so happy to share it with you. It is very important to connect with the deity in an intimate, personal relationship. Make a connection with the deity that you most resonate with. Pick an area of your life that needs divine grace to enter into it. Surrender this area to the deity. Say with deep feeling, I give this problem to you. I ask for your grace to solve my problem. Pray for grace to enter into all aspects of your life. As you do the mantra, Arut Perun Jyoti, visualize white light entering you. Keep seeing the grace light to go deeper and deeper into your cells. Try this for 20 minutes. So let's do the practice. Essentially, as we repeat the mantra, and in this case, he's given not the full verse that I've shared with you before, just Arut Perun Jyoti. So we can do this as it's described here, with openness to grace, grace light being received from above, from the vastness of of infinity and into the crown, into every cell. And as suggested, if there's a specific area of your life, of your experience that you would like to experience divine grace, divine wisdom, divine intelligence, to be taking care of whatever is feeling stuck for you. And this relates back to your question as well, Claire, at the beginning. Where is stuckness held? If it may be that we don't yet know where it is that a certain issue is stuck, but we can allow the intuition to guide to wherever it is. We may find ourselves drawn to a particular place, and to emphasize, in a way, open it more deeply in that place for grace to be received, the divine grace light. But we can also open for all of our being to be filled with grace. I'm just going to begin with 3 Oms to open the space. Arut Perun Jyoti. Arut Perun Jyoti. I'll do it aloud a few times, and if you want to do it aloud, you can continue doing the mantra aloud, or you can do it internally, or alternate as it feels right for you. Arut Perun Jyoti. Arut Perun Jyoti. Arut Perun Jyoti. Arut Perun Jyoti. Arut Perun Jyoti, 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 Arut Perun Jyoti. Arut Perun Jyoti, 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 Arut Perun Jyoti,
Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Arut Perun Jyoti, Perun Jyoti, Arut 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 Perun Jyoti, Jyoti, Arut Perun 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 Jyoti.